All right, so welcome to Google This, Google That, Google Everything, presented by
Jessica Harrell
and Jacob Shire. We're doing this as part of our master's class for instructional technology, but also, I get asked a lot of questions here at school about Google. I know I've already helped out Coach Norwood a little bit and some other people throughout the day, so we thought this might be able to help and be something relevant that we all use every day. So the first thing we want to start with is really simple. If you just want to look up to the front up here, this is just the first step we're going to do is just tips and tricks to help out. So let me drag mine over here. Coach Cox has this fancy computer. I found this out. Our waffle that we call it, or the three little dots, however, you can rearrange it. You might not have known that. I didn't. I can never find my classroom. It used to be way down here, and I'd always be looking for it. Or if it was in the more, all those different things, you can just click, drag, and move things where you are. Like I use Drive in Classroom every day. I don't use, today's Meet or my contacts very often. So I just thought that was just a neat little trick so you're not searching on your dashboard every time when you bring it up.
Their peers on how they feel that they worked within the group. So what we would like to give you time to do is to create something that you would actually use in your class. So whether it be an exit slip or if you want to do some sort of an assessment, because you can add multiple choice even, and you can add a drop-down box, like if you wanted to put in different questions, or you can even upload a file. So we're going to give you some time to explore making your own Google form. And then when you're finished, if you hit the send button and you click on the link, you can copy and paste that link into the Google Classroom so that we can have a collection of the Google Forms that you created today.
Here.
Yeah, don't forget that the today's meet is up here so that we can help with any questions and we can kind of keep a log. So if we don't get it today, we can actually come back to you, we can email you, or we can come by your classroom sometime.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so now on your drive, sort it by last modified.
Also, when you're creating it, a question that we just had, make sure that if you only want them to create one response that you put on there, so you can personalize it with that as well. So make sure that you go through and make sure if you need them to sign in, because Ms. Cruz was saying the students submitted theirs for one that she already did, but it didn't require them to sign in, so she wasn't sure which student created those responses. So you want to make sure, and some of them you may not want to know. It may be, anonymous, that you just need the data, but some of them you may need to know which students, said what, especially if you're going to go back in and help them if it's some sort of reflection.
That'll be on there as well in just a moment. I think Ms. Harrell was going to show a little bit about collaborating and sharing. Yes, Coach Knoll. You need my assistance. I love it.
With blended learning and collaborative learning, Google Drive is the best tool that I've found because it's so easy for the students to share anything that they're working on and they can work on it together. So I'm just going to show you how you can make comments and how they can. So if you go to your Drive, any document that they bring up, my students a lot of the times work on a Google slide or I do a lot of presentations in small group. So you just want to make sure that they know how to share information so they can make comments on the side that they can also delete once they get done working. But just so you know, they can come over here, there's Google Slides, you have drawings, sites. A lot of times I use Weebly instead of the Google Sites, but that's also a tool that they can use. We use Weebly just because the students are a little more familiar with Weebly. But if you go into Google Slides, just make sure that the students know how to get to their templates, because a lot of my students will go and do exactly what I did. They'll open up the very first template and they don't realize that they have all of this that has already been created, so they don't have to recreate the wheel. And then it's so compatible that if they wanted to put it into a Google Sites, they could. So if they're gonna, let's say they're gonna do a science project, and the thing that some of my younger students are getting confused with is the difference between emailing and sharing. So you just want to make sure that the students understand if they're going to share this with one another, they're going to go to the share button. And something that Shire said earlier, you want to make sure when you're looking at the settings that they can edit and can comment, or if you're creating something that you don't want the students to be able to edit, that it's just view only. Also, when you're creating a link, and he was just saying this earlier, especially if you're doing something outside of Horry County, when I work with athletes and I have to send something to parents, you just want to make sure that you're looking at all of the settings to make sure that it's right for the group of the people that you're trying to communicate with. So, and you can create that link and you can send it, but you want to make sure if it's just on Horry County, it's only going to be sendable to the people that have an Horry County address. So you just want to make sure that the students know that those tools are all available. The other thing that I think is neat, and this is a great tool for the classroom, if you go to the Google Calendar, right now this is pulled up for our athletics, and it's a calendar that's shared with us so that we can see how the gym is being shared. But also this is a good tool for your students if you want to give them an outline of what's going on that week and help them get prepared, and then you can post this into your Google Classroom. So it may not be an immediate assignment that they need to turn in, but as well as I do, they can ask you a million times, when did you say that was done? And you can just say, revert back to the calendar that's in Google Classroom. And you don't have to put, every lesson plan in there for the week, but you can just highlight some things that are to come. And you can also tell them, obviously, this could change if, or be extended if we have to alter our class schedule. And if you go back into Google Classroom,
Jessica, before you go any further, if you share your calendar, do you put it in the About section?
Yes.
Okay.
Put it in the About section.
So we have it.
And like I said, on the Google Classroom, there's a section, there's a screencast for collaborating. There's one that's specific to Google Slides and Google Sheets. And then there's one specific to Google Apps and Google Templates. And then some more simplistic ones. If you have any type of Word document and you want to make it a Google Drive, you can download it into your Drive. So then if you need your students to collaborate, and it's an old lesson that you had, you know, before we were doing all of this, you can just download it and then you can make it a shareable document. One of the last things we have is if you go into the Google Classroom, we just want to get your feedback, and we've created a Google form so that we can get some feedback about our technology training today. And again, what we've done is we took one of the templates, we edited it, and then we posted it to the Google Classroom so we can have reflection from the students, which is important to do.